Welcome to A Taste of AZ podcast. My name is Luke Irvin, and today we've got an epic episode lined up for you. But before we jump into that, just want to let you guys know real quick, we've got some brand new merchandise up on our website, including these Thanks for Supporting Local hats and 2 new shirts as well. If you like today's episode, please also leave us a review on your favorite podcast app, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and follow our email newsletter. With nothing else to say, let's jump into today's episode.
We're here at Westin Tempe. This place is beautiful.
Thank you.
Really, really cool spot. Yeah. Oh, we're getting served. What do we have here, sir? A fine bottle of water. I like it. So, Mario, cheers, man. Cheers for you and your team for having us in today. You come highly recommended from Christina. So, no pressure, but better be good, man.
The pressure's on.
So how this place is pretty new, right? Like so when I came today, I live in North Phoenix. Driving through Tempe was a little bit different experience than it's been a while since I've been down here.
Yeah.
It's grown a little bit.
Yeah, it's changed completely over the last couple of years.
Yeah.
I remember coming down here when I was younger, which it's a completely different scene. But now we're getting these nice hotels and a lot of businesses are coming in, so it's grown exponentially.
Yeah. I remember moving here, and I moved here in 2007, and you could go down Mill Avenue, and that vibe is completely different. Like, it used to be like you would go down some street in like Boulder, Colorado, right?
Yeah.
You know, that kind of vibe, and now it's kind of getting a little more classed up, I guess you could say.
Yeah. I think we're in a renaissance period where everything is starting to change and convert into something new. Where it was a college scene, a few years back, but all of a sudden people are starting to, look for that more refinement and upscale living, which Tempe has pretty much anything that you can think of. So
yeah. Now, are you originally from Arizona?
I was born in California, but I grew up in Arizona. So
okay.
I grew up in Phoenix. Just a little west from here, but I've been all around Arizona, so Arizona's home.
Yeah, nice. And what do you think Mario as a kid was, Christina?
Well, he's so beloved now, so I bet he was probably the favorite child or the favorite grandkid or.
Yeah, you might say that. Yeah, I'm the oldest of 3, so I have 2 younger sisters.
So you're the only boy?
I'm the only boy, yeah. So I looked after them, and but I was the one with all the good grades, and I was in sports, played basketball, football, and pretty much tried to do the best I can in anything that I put my mind to. So
yeah.
But that's me as a kid.
Like here. And how long has it been open? About 2
just under
years?
2 years. So August 11th was when we opened of last year. So August 11th, it's coming up with 2 years.
And it feels new and modern too, don't you think, Eric? It's very bright and airy, and
it does. Yeah, it's very. I'm jealous you're staying here tonight, Christina.
I might never leave. And they have a beautiful rooftop deck. But probably before we jump ahead, we have a few goodies here. Do you want to tell us what we're enjoying?
So we have one of our new salads it's on our lunch and dinner menu. So we call it the Camelback mango salad. So you have fresh mangoes, heirloom cherry tomatoes, avocado, dried cranberries, and sunflower seeds. And then it's tossed in a cilantro and jalapeno yogurt.
So,
I think that's kind of your hallmark. You do a lot of fresh, bright flavors.
Yes, try to keep it as bright as possible and refreshing. So I'm classically French trained, but with French cooking, there's a lot of heaviness and creams and butter. So I try to take the lighter approach, but still using the same French cooking.
Balance.
Yeah, French cooking techniques and all the balance. So plus try to showcase what Arizona has to offer. So a lot of the things that we do here at Terra, we try to get from locally sourced purveyors and Arizona farms and things like that. So like we use Queen Creek Olive Mill, Crow's Dairy.
2 of my favorites.
Yeah, and then the list goes on. So
That's great. And then I know we're going to talk about the cocktails more later, but what are we quenching our thirst with right now?
So we have the Sancha Old Fashioned. Don't really know what else goes in there besides bourbon. I know that there's a little bit of chocolate in there, and then we have the Greyhound, which we're actually changing up our cocktail menu at the end of this month, and the Greyhound is actually staying on.
It's a perfect Arizona cocktail, I think.
It's
so
really
refreshing
and very refreshing.
Yeah, and this one's perfect.
Yeah. Are you a fan of the cocktails here as well? Like you?
Big fan. At least when I try the new ones or something that they're working on. We have a great team, just doing some amazing things, and But now we're looking to push that next level up. So, yeah, I'm very excited for things that we're doing.
What's that mean? What's the next level?
So we're just trying to refine and heighten. What we are doing. Obviously, we put a lot of love into the meals and the cocktails that we make, but just trying to elevate the level of service and execution of the cocktails and our food.
Okay, I love it.
And you are the executive chef for the whole resort.
Yeah,
so that includes the upstairs pool bar.
Yep, Skysill Bar and Lounge, Cup of Joe, which is our coffee shop, and Terra Tempe Kitchen, and plus our banquet operation as well.
Dang. I mean, so it's in a really cool spot, right? With being so close to mill, and there's so much activity going on. But you guys have set it up where you don't need to leave, right? You got
exactly. Yeah, we try to cater to everything. We have world-class amenities, and the rooms are quite modern, like simple, but with a modern touch. Just anything that you want to do, you can do at the hotel.
Yeah, I dig it. Well, and looks like we just missed the tequila tasting.
Yes.
Yeah. Man, should have scheduled this 3 days ago, Christina.
That's right. We'll plan better next time for part 2.
Yeah, absolutely. And you can have the day off. We'll plan on your day off so you can taste with us.
Yeah,
right?
we'll plan it. We'll make it happen.
Awesome. Well, so let's back up a little bit. Was food always in your life? Like, were you always?
Yeah. So growing up, actually, my dad was a chef for 20 years.
Okay.
So I've always been part of the business, and the only time I could go see him, because he would work 2 or 3 jobs sometimes. The only time I would see him is on a lunch break, where my mom would pack him a lunch, and then we would take it to him, and we would sit down at one of their employee tables and just have lunch. I remember walking into the actual kitchen for like the first time and just seeing just everybody hustling, bustling, and there's fire going on, people yelling, the chef sending back dishes if he didn't like them, and I was just like, what is this?
Were you intrigued?
Very intrigued. It's nothing that I ever seen before, because this is prior to television and Gordon Ramsay and all those Top Chef, those kind of shows. Like no one saw that. Like, I was watching cartoons and like Power Rangers, I guess.
Yeah. Whole another world, right?
Yeah. So it was always intriguing. But it's funny. My dad told me, he's like, I don't want you to be in the industry. But one day after football practice, I came home and he said, I got you a job. I'm like, oh, okay. So what
changed?
Exactly. So he got me a job as a food runner and busser at Turf Paradise, actually.
Oh, wow.
So that was my first job. But I did everything there, from bussing tables, food running, to bartending, to working in their warehouse. And then that's where I first got a taste of actual cooking. One day, the executive chef asked if anybody would be willing to help, because our appetizer cook no-showed. And so I was like, hey, I know how to fry stuff.
Yeah.
So I rose my hand and volunteered, and then I was doing it for the remainder of the season. So that was my first start cooking.
Yeah. So why didn't he want you to get into the industry?
Because of the long hours, all the hard work that it takes to be in this industry. Mm-hmm. He didn't want that for me, where I saw, growing up, where he missed birthdays, vacations, holidays, and it was tough, but my mom was always there, and she was always willing to be there for anything that we needed. I mean, she was the one that would take us to practice or karate.
She was holding down the fort while your
exactly.
dad was working hard. Yeah.
And so then one day he's like, all right, man, I got to put him through the ringer. Let's give him a job. Right?
Yeah, well, I think it's because I got a little too expensive because, like, when I was a kid, I still do, shoes. So I'm a big sneakerhead. Okay. So I was getting the Jordans that were $150, $200, $300. So he's like, hey, look, man.
He's like, all right, you're paying for your own shoes.
Exactly. So I think that's one of the reasons why he was like, I got you a job. I was like, okay.
And now look at you. Right?
Yeah. Now look at me. I thought I was just going to do it until I got to, university or college. I was just doing it as a side thing. Yeah. Because I was working and going to school in high school still. So I would just work on the weekends. And, it grabbed a hold of me and it never let go.
Yeah. I think it tends to do that to people, right?
Yeah. There is a special breed because we hear it all the time when we interview chefs, and they see the chaos and they like it.
Yeah.
Some people see chaos and say, get me out of here. But, those people who are almost born to do that, it's something that's appealing, the camaraderie, the organized chaos, I should say.
Yeah, exactly. It's like you don't even realize that you like it until you're actually in the trenches and experiencing it firsthand. But it's like you're under fire, and it's like, what do? Do you panic? Do you just jump into it and get yourself out of the weeds, as we like to say in the kitchen? Yeah. But it's a lot of fun, honestly. There's nothing else that I would rather do. I thought about it and tried to get into the medical field, and I was not happy doing a 9 to 5.
I missed it.
Yeah, I missed it. So, so here I am.
Well, we're happy you're here.
Yeah, absolutely. Christina's been wanting to take a bite of that salad the whole time. And
it's delicious.
Yeah, please.
It looks incredible. So you're working in the, you stepped up to, was it Turf Paradise where you stepped up and were doing appetizers?
Yeah, appetizers. Yeah. So I was doing appetizers, which was all fried stuff like sliders, chicken tenders, fried mushrooms. It was very, very basic. But it was only a seasonal job, so I had to get, once the season was over, I had to find another job. And it was coming up in the summertime when they closed, and then I was going to be out of school, so I needed a full-time job. So I actually got into clubs, a club that my dad used to work at, and then eventually we started working together again there for the first time and actually cooking. Okay. So he just picked up a part-time job to cook with me. Yeah. Because we didn't really see much of each other. But
that's nice, though.
That's really cool.
Yeah. So he enjoyed working with you.
Yeah, he enjoyed. I started off in the snack shop, was what they call it, where all the golfers pick up, a sandwich or a hot dog or something like that. But one day, actually, the executive chef came to me and asked me if I would be willing to help out since one of the cooks no-showed. And then they had a function for 200 people, so they were had the hands full with that. And at that point, I hadn't really cooked like fine dining or steaks or anything like that. Yeah. So without hesitation, I said, yeah, of course. But then realizing what did I get myself into?
Right, it's a totally different.
Yeah, just completely.
Can't throw that steak in the fryer.
No, can't do that.
Yeah, I guess you could.
So I was a bit nervous and scared, but luckily it was a slower day. So I had to do a couple salads and a burger and maybe a club sandwich. And the next day, the chef, it's like, hey, thank you so much for doing that. Yeah. Here, we're thinking about moving you into a breakfast lunch roll. What do you think about that? And I was like, well, honestly, chef, I don't really know how to cook. I know how to do, the simple stuff that we do here in the snack shop. But other than that, I can't make a hollandaise. I don't know how to flip eggs. I don't know any of this stuff. He's like, don't worry about it. We'll teach you. You already have that can-do attitude where you're not scared or,
Which is invaluable.
For sure.
Yeah. And that day I realized, it's like if you don't try to do something, you'll never know if you will succeed. And if you do fail, you just try, you get back up and try again and learn from your last mistake and try not to do that same mistake. So, but yeah, he changed my perspective completely and didn't realize I wanted to be an actual line cook until that moment happened. And then, it just started growing from there.
So it sounds like you took every opportunity that came your way.
I did. And then I eventually got to work with the corporate chef for Troon. So he managed all of North America. And
I think that's when we met, right? When you were working for Troon, or was it
no,
after?
we actually met when I worked at Four Seasons with Chef Mel.
That's right. That's
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
Hi, Chef Mel.
Shout out to Chef Mel, yes.
Christina's introducing me to all the greats. I'm still an amateur at the food stuff, so I don't know Chef Mel, but you sound awesome.
Mel Messinas.
Okay. Yeah.
He works for Bob Parsons now at the Scottsdale Country Club, or National Club, Scottsdale.
Scottsdale National, I think it's called.
Yeah.
Yes.
But
Yeah.
he's very well known in the Valley. He was at Four Seasons, I think. How many years?
I want to say plus 20 years.
Yeah.
With the company, plus 20 years for sure. I think just over 10 at the Scottsdale property. But that's where I really enjoyed, cooking, where I saw cooking that it could be just more than substance, that it could also be art.
Yeah.
So like Chef Mel completely, opened my eyes to different ingredients and different styles of cuisines. That guy was very, very talented. I learned a lot from him. So that's when I realized I wanted to be a chef, not just a cook.
Yeah.
And I immersed myself. I spent about 3 years at that property. I did everything, or worked at every outlet possible, banquets, Talavera, Crescent Moon. Then we changed Crescent Moon.
I remember Crescent Moon. That's right.
Yeah, we changed Crescent Moon into Proof, Saguaro Blossom, banquets, like pretty much anything that you can think of. I worked overnights as well. So
That can-do attitude.
I was gonna say you sound like you were hooked. Like you were like.
yeah, I
you were
was
ready to rock.
fully immersed. I was
Yeah.
trying to read every cookbook I could get my hands on. Magazine. That's when Instagram started to take off, and I was hesitant to do that because I was like, why do I need to do this? And then one of my friends was like, well, you can use it as your portfolio, like stuff that you're
Right.
working on or doing, or stuff that you've done. And I didn't think about it that way, so I was like, well, you got a point.
Yeah,
So,
that explains, because he's always been good at taking pictures of the
Okay.
food.
Yeah.
yeah, and that's where I got to meet Christina for the first time.
Yeah. Where was that at? Where did you guys meet? You said. Four
At
Seasons?
Four Seasons Scottsdale.
Okay.
So we were actually, she and Ernesto signed up for a cooking class.
Okay.
But they would prep the ingredients that they were going to eat for I think it was like 3-course or 4-course meal. And I was entrusted to teach them how to do certain things.
Yeah.
That's actually, Ernesto really enjoyed that. He didn't think he was going to, but
Yeah.
he did enjoy
Like
it.
prepping the ingredients, like getting everything
Yeah,
ready.
because it was a cooking class that, they did a lot of it.
Yeah.
So that's why he liked it. But, I mean, it's the Four Seasons, and
Yeah.
they did everything, like, to the nines.
Yeah.
to it.
Yeah,
But
I mean, they
it
even
was
had
a lot of fun.
They even had a chef coat with their name on them and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, that's the first time I met with Christina.
And we've
Yeah.
been friends ever since.
Yeah. You've been so I was gonna say you've been following them around, but
Right.
have
And
you
this is your first executive chef role, right?
Actually, it's my second
Your
one.
second?
So I was also the executive chef at Terra Country Club in Santana Valley. So yeah, that was my first. So I've been into clubs and hotels. I really wanted to have my own hotel. Just there's a special place in my heart for hotels where you can literally go anywhere in the world that you want.
Yeah.
Specifically with Marriott and Crescent Hotels. That's a company that I work for currently. But it's like you want to go to Hawaii, we got a place for you.
Yeah. That's actually a really good idea. Like
I remember that because I didn't realize it until we spent a lot of time at the Four Seasons back then, and one of the bartenders was going on their honeymoon to Fiji to the Four Seasons because that was a perk of being an employee.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you get 50% off food and beverage.
Yeah. That's not
It's
a
a
bad
it's a
thing
good
at all.
incentive. It's a good incentive to say yes, we could do whatever you want.
Yeah. Well, so you were saying that you're French trained.
Yeah. So I actually when I worked for the corporate chef at Troon, he was very big with Le Cordon Bleu at the time. So he went to the one in Pasadena. So I started doing research because I wanted to grow and learn more. And we had one here in Scottsdale, so I signed up for the one here in Scottsdale, Arizona. So I went I was there for a couple years. I was a 2-year program.
Okay.
And it was then where one of my instructors was like, hey, if you want to move up and see other things, like, you should get into hotels.
Yeah.
So I got into hotels right after that, and then been over the valley, from Four Seasons to the Fairmont to the Royal Palms.
Weekopa.
Oh, yeah, Weekopa Casino Resort. I helped open that up.
Nice.
So, yeah, I've been around the valley.
And what is it about the hotels that, I mean, I know working for them has the perks, and I would think that the structure and the systematic aspect of it is really a great thing. Right?
Yeah.
But what is it that you like about serving people at a,
Well, you get all aspects of people coming into the hotels. They're well-traveled, people from overseas, Asia, Europe, to, people in, Central America. So you just get a different culture of people that come in, and we try to base whatever hotel that we work at, we have a certain style or cuisine that the resort is showcasing.
Okay.
So they get to try a little bit of what Arizona has to offer. For instance, in the case of Terra, we focus on Arizona flavors and the southwestern cuisine and the influences from Native American to Spanish to Mexican to everything that comes into the melting pot of Arizona. So
Do you have signature dishes?
I do. So for dinner, my signature dish is our filet, our beef filet tenderloin. So it has.
So I know what Ernesto's ordering.
Yeah, it comes with purple sweet potatoes, roasted baby carrots, and a guajillo chili demi. So
That sounds amazing.
a little different take on meat and potatoes. Let's see, and then one of the dishes actually just came off the menu was our citrus and orange chipotle glazed salmon with baby squash, a fried salmon skin. So yeah.
You getting hungry over there, Eric?
Oh yeah, I'm like, sorry, I didn't hear anything you just said there, Mario. I'm just like,
He's
what is? This stuff just looks incredible, man. And at
you.
first, I was like, buffalo mozzarella flatbread, and I know it's not buffalo like New York buffalo, right?
Yeah.
Or is it?
No, it's not.
Okay,
No,
all right.
it's
Yeah,
not.
I was say that's you don't see the buffalo sauce very often in an upper scale place, but this is mozzarella made from buffalo.
Yeah. Right. Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't even know where I would start. You got some lobster on there too, some seafood options.
We do. So that's lobster is actually our version of paella. So it's
Okay.
we call it the arroz negro. So we have forbidden rice that we cook in a little bit of squid ink, and then it has a herb nosh and a pretty much every seafood option that you can think of. So lobster.
Okay, now I know what I'm getting.
I know.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you have lobster, mussels, crab, Spanish chorizo, just a plethora of things.
I thought that was an interesting addition, the chorizo.
Yeah.
That's, I mean, I was already in, and then I hear that, I'm like,
Yeah, it just gives it a
Yeah.
different take, a little bit
Yeah.
of spiciness from the dried chorizo, and a little bit of bite too, so a little bit of
Yeah.
spiciness.
And how does the menu upstairs on the rooftop differ? Obviously more casual, right?
Yeah, more casual, a little, not try to say like fast food, but like try to execute quickly, because it's just a different level of execution that we do up there. So we're actually getting ready to change the menu. We're going to launch it on May 4th. So we have beef tenderloin, anticuchos.
Oh, nice. So skewers?
Yep,
or-
skewers with a warm potato southwestern salad.
Nice.
Let's see. We also have actually lobster corn dogs.
Wow. So I love it. It's
corn
not
dogs?
not the average pool fare.
no.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah, we try to be a little bit interesting. Try to
Be Mario.
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, just changes something that you wouldn't necessarily see, and put my twist to it. So.
What is a lobster corn dog?
So we actually make a sausage out of lobster and shrimp.
Okay.
And then you have like shallots, garlic, lemon zest, parsley, and then we roll that up, make it into the sausage, and then we dip it into the corn batter, and then we served it with a Morita chili ketchup that we make in house.
I love how he acts like it's so simple.
Yeah,
And then
you
as
just
he
make it into
describes it, you can picture in your head all that layering of flavors and, every component adds something.
Yeah. So just try to be a little bit playful with it, and it's honestly that's probably one of my favorite ones. It's going to be a game changer.
Yeah, it's on my list of my top 5 list of must gets. It's the Aftermath Burger is on that list,
right. It's so
and now
good.
the lobster corn dog is on that list. Man, might be number 2 actually.
I think I might need to write an article about.
I think so.
some
I
of
think
these.
so. Yes. We do. I mean, we could do a whole article about a lobster corn dog. I'm in on that one. And then you got a bottomless, almost bottomless brunch. That's a key factor for people like myself because I can eat the bottom out of some brunch sometimes. What is that? What is? And you build a brunch tower?
Yeah, brunch tower. So the almost bottomless. So we have almost bottomless mimosas. That's the almost bottomless.
Okay.
So we serve.
Got to put a cap on that. Right?
Yeah, you kind of have to. But yeah. And then,
is it reasonably? I mean, recently new?
Yeah, so we actually just launched it. We about 3 weeks ago we launched our new menu for brunch, lunch, breakfast, and dinner. And then, so bottomless mimosas, $25.
Oh, that's not bad at all.
And then to accompany that, we created a brunch tower. Yeah. So I kind of took inspiration on afternoon tea.
Oh, I like that idea.
And so you would normally get a little tower with all the little tea sandwiches and things like that. So I was like, oh, well, we should do that for brunch. So you can taste a little bit of everything from the actual brunch menu.
Which is how I like to dine anyways. I love that idea.
Exactly. Yeah. But then you have all this food that you take home and say you have an event to go to afterwards or something. It's like you don't want to take that with you or you don't have enough time to actually, put it in the fridge, right?
Right.
So we came up with the concept of smaller portions, but the same items from the brunch menu, so that you can have the opportunity to try a little bit of everything. So
I think that's great too. Even if you weren't staying here, to bring out of town guests because it's the type of meal you can chat and graze.
Yeah.
And I think it's very convivial. And Saturdays and Sundays, is it, or is it
Friday through Sunday actually?
Friday through
from
Sunday.
6 in the morning till 2 p.m. in the afternoon.
Nice.
It's on my list
He's
now
always
too.
raising the bar here.
Well, I'm seeing sausage gravy biscuits, right? Biscuits and gravy. You got the Shriners sausage gravy, which I think that's cool. Local sausage
I love
company.
Shriners.
Yeah.
Yes. You got a sunny side up egg, and then just put a little twist in it, Serrano cheddar biscuits.
Yep. Serrano and cheddar.
Yeah.
Try to keep it southwestern as possible.
Yeah, I
so our pastry chef, Chef Noni, she makes our biscuits. Oh my God, these things are amazing. We have everybody.
Where was she before? 'Cause her name sounds familiar.
So she was over at Hermosa Inn, actually.
Okay. I've met her.
Yeah.
She's great. So
Yeah.
I'm excited she's over here.
Yeah, she's amazing.
I knew her name sounded familiar. Well, I was so impressed with her desserts over there.
Well, you have a Rolodex of things in your mind that you've got to keep sorted.
Only if
Christina,
it's
how?
food and booze. I don't remember anything else nowadays.
Well, I think that's the most important part, right? So.
Yeah, it is absolutely. Well, hey, let's take a quick break here. We're gonna pop back. I want to wrap it up with you before we bring on who's the cocktail girl that's going to join us.
So that's Nicole.
Okay.
Nicole Robinson-Sanchez.
Okay.
So she's actually spearheading our new cocktail and beverage program that we're going to be launching at the end of this month, actually.
Awesome. Well, we'll step back with you here in a minute, and then we'll bring her on.
Great.
All right.
Real quick message for you guys. If you guys are enjoying today's episode, please leave us a review on your favorite podcast app and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Also, if you haven't already, make sure you subscribe to our email newsletter for all of the cool spots to eat and drink around town, as well as upcoming events and fun stuff like that. Also, we've got some brand new merch on our website, including these Thanks for Supporting Local hats and 2 brand new t-shirts. So make sure to check out our website for more. Now back to the podcast.
Thank you for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, these are your doing right here.
Yes,
They
and
are.
look how gorgeous they are.
I don't know if we were going to start drafting drinks, but I always go for the flower one first, believe it or not.
That's good to know.
Yeah, I
from now
love
on.
edible flowers. And those are edible?
They are.
Okay,
I don't
okay.
know that anyone who actually eats them, but
I
hey, that's
will.
impressive.
Eric eats everything.
I really do. Everything
that
but
in you.
horseradish. Everything but horseradish.
Spicy.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
And it just, I can do spicy, but just not horseradish.
so
for
there's
some
no
reason.
horseradish in these drinks,
Not
right?
in these ones. Maybe next time, though.
Okay,
A
all
little
right.
special gift.
All right.
That's right. They'll call
I'm
it the Eric.
Lead me in with the flowers, get me comfortable, and then throw in the horseradish.
Sure, in the horseradish. Perfect.
Mario, do you use horseradish on anything? All right, nice. All right, I'm liking this place more and more.
I don't know. I saw a bunch of it in the bag, so somebody uses it.
Bloody Marys.
When they ask for it, he just snacks on it. Would you introduce yourself and let us know what you do here?
Yeah, my name's Nicole. I'm currently the food and beverage outlets manager, but I've had the pleasure of crafting our entire new beverage program for the summer.
Nice.
So
That
we're
must have been a lot of fun.
It was a lot of fun. It was a lot of work.
Right.
But fortunately, I have like a great team. Some of my bar staff helped me. We went and saw some of our partners at RNDC and at Southern to help us get some concepts kind of dialed in. So it was a really fun process, and everyone got to be involved, which is cool because then all of my staff take ownership over it. They feel like it's theirs,
Right.
so they're more proud of it, and they
Yep.
want to show it off more. So that's exciting.
Great. Do you want me to pass that so you can try it when she's talking about
Yes,
it?
please.
Flowers first.
I had to try a bite of this flatbread here, so. So far, so
to
good,
hear
Mario.
what's in that.
So this one is our Desert Samurai. We did kind of an interesting mix. We mixed a Junmai sake and mezcal by Careño's Naran.
We're big fans.
Yeah, we love Ivan and Abel. They're the best. So we did that. We did a little bit of agave and some lime juice. We kind of a lower ABV cocktail. It doesn't have quite the punch that some of the other ones do, but still very interesting. I know that
perfect for summer.
Yeah, I think people tend to be very nervous around mezcal because it's so smoky and it's kind of aggressive, but we found a way to really dial it out and
I think
keep
that's
it
one of the
approachable and
best
refreshing.
mezcal drinks I've had.
Good.
That
I'm
is
glad to
very
hear
nice.
that.
Yeah, I didn't
Because
hear
there's
anything
all
that she
these
said.
notes.
I wish I would have
there's
listened.
floral notes.
They'll just have to have another one.
herbaceous
That's
notes.
all it is.
Because I was so intrigued and it smells.
I know, and I'm like, oh, it's Naran. I should have taken a really fancy picture.
Well, we do a lot of things with Nadan actually on this new menu. We have their whole lineup, so
I
it's
did
pretty
see
cool.
like the whole Careño. I think
Yeah.
you have them all. It looks like.
Just
Oh,
about.
nice.
Yeah. We are an agave spirits bar, so we try to not just highlight tequila, but also sotals and mezcals, and we even got in some of their like ponches and their bitters. and
Oh, I
stuff,
love
so.
the ponches.
Yeah, me too.
Shout out to Esteban.
Yes. That ponche is incredible.
Yeah.
I really like that.
And he has 3 flavors now, I think?
Yep, he has a tamarindo, a passion fruit, and a pomegranate, which I think was
Yes.
the original.
What was the first thing you said? There was tequila, mezcal.
We have a
So-
Junmai sake.
Okay.
So it's a cold sake. Junmai in nature is usually a bit more acidic, so it balances out the smokiness that the mezcal kind of
That's in this?
gives off. It is.
Okay,
It is.
yeah.
We actually have 2 sake cocktails for you. The sake spritz for our Skysill rooftop menu is here also.
I love the sound of that, a sake spritz.
Yeah, if you want to dive into that one.
Can you reach that, Eric?
That one has the
I can reach them
sake.
all if I need to.
It also has some Zonin coastal lemon prosecco. I think is in that one. And there's
That is
fresh
incredible.
berries,
That is-
soda.
That's the perfect pool drink.
I was
Or
gonna say,
actually,
yeah.
it's the perfect summer rooftop staycation drink.
Yeah, we're calling
Yeah.
it for the gram because we figure like all those berries and the big pop of like color from the lemon wheel, like people are going to want to Instagram
the
that all
gram.
over the
Yes.
place.
I like that.
So
Well, especially, you take a picture of that with the aquamarine pool in the background and
right, and like everybody puts everything online these days, so we want to make sure that things are refreshing but also beautiful, and you can show them off. That one also has a touch of the Belle Brulette pear liqueur in it.
oh,
So the pear and the
nice.
sake kind of jump off
I
each
love
other.
that you add that little touch.
Yeah.
So, where did this start for you? Like, where did cocktails and
Um,
hospitality?
Actually, it's kind of funny. I started bartending when I was 17. I was not allowed to be doing it, but my aunt threw very lavish cocktail parties at her house.
My husband started at 10. He's he's Mexican, so all the big Mexican parties.
Same. I'm half Mexican, so I learned very early how to pour a cocktail. So she decided that all of me and my cousins were much cheaper help than hiring bartenders. So we learned how to do it, and we got to make a couple of bucks. After that, I decided, my mother decided that she'd always wanted to bartend, but never did. So that meant that I had to. to put myself through college.
She's living vicariously through you.
I mean, hey, there are
And
worse
drinking
ways
really
that she
well.
could do it. So I was okay with it. So I started bartending, put myself through college, and I always kind of thought that would be the end of it, but it wasn't, because I just had so much fun with it, and I really enjoyed it. So I started bartending in nightclubs, hotels, craft bars, and now I've kind of hit the point where I'm not tired of bartending. I still love it, but I'm getting older, in my 30s. Like, maybe I don't want to be slinging Jack and Cokes to kids on Mill Avenue for the rest of my life. So I decided to go into like management and kind of start doing stuff like this, a little bit more elevated, but I'm still close to all of the products and all of the culture of it that I love so much.
And it sounds like you've done so great that they've promoted you and
it's
letting you
happened
kind of
pretty
play.
fast.
And
For sure. I got hired as a bartender when we opened 2 years ago, and now I'm writing their beverage program. It's actually a pretty incredible experience. I've been very, very lucky.
Congratulations. And lucky us, right, Eric?
Absolutely. Yeah, I'm loving it over here right now.
And you're
Eating
loving
and
that
drinking.
carne asada, what, Barreuata, chef?
That's
What
my
is that?
favorite one. It's a flatbread,
Okay.
but that's my favorite one that we have on the menu.
And I think Mario said that is a little nod to his time in at Four Seasons. Take another bite. I'll take another sip.
Yeah, take a swig.
We can
Get it
talk
washed
about the
down.
next cocktail.
Sure.
Yes.
Which one do you guys want to go with?
You
That one
choose.
is-
Okay.
yeah.
This one?
That was this one.
So that one's called our Midnight Heat. It is our take on an espresso martini. Seems very complex, but it's actually very simple. We just did an añejo tequila, a little bit of orgeat. We house infused a chipotle agave, so that way it has a little bit of spice, and then we just did some shaved chocolate on top.
And I love orgeat in drinks. I love the nuttiness and the.
I think it's a very underrated.
Yep.
I'm a mess right now. Like I am.
Hey, it's not
spilling-
easy. It's a big table.
If you haven't made a mess, you weren't eating and drinking.
And it wasn't me, so
Wasn't
I'm
worth
happy
it.
about that.
As long as I didn't spill it on the equipment, I'm good with that.
I think you got one cord, but we can.
Oh, the cord's
for you.
fine. This baby right here. You don't want to get this. It's had beer spilt on it and beer festivals. So
Oh, this would be much more fun
I
for
think
it,
it
though.
would be. Yeah,
than
but
beer.
it smell good.
But
too.
How many cocktails are on the menu?
It'll be 10 on our one for Terra, and we have another alternative 10 for our rooftop.
Wow,
So
that
they're
is a lot.
Completely separate concepts. They're very, very different takes on things, but they're all very delicious. It's definitely worth, if you've come in to see one of our areas, to go see the other, even if just to have a drink and see a
We'll
new
be
view.
up there for sunset.
Perfect.
tonight. So
It's
what
a
else?
great time.
So you said the sake spritz is up there.
It is, as well as our last cocktail over here, the Continental Tiki. Tiki drinks, obviously, are a huge wave right now, and especially in summer.
Yes.
So we've decided to do something a little bit different. We didn't use rum. We used scotch and mezcal.
Oh,
in
nice.
ours.
So a little smoke.
Little smoke, a little smoothness, because the scotch that we use is Dewar's Caribbean Smooth, so it's aged in rum barrels once it's finished.
I've never had that.
Fresh lime, fresh pineapple. Again, just a really cool and refreshing take on what's a very classic style cocktail.
Has anybody ever poked their eye with that when they take a drink?
Not that I've
I'll be
witnessed,
the first one,
but
probably.
we usually have a straw with us, but I kind of failed you on that.
That's okay. It's much more beautiful this way.
But
It
again,
is,
like
that's
with
true.
this one, I think that people tend to be scared of scotch because, again, it's so aggressive. So I always like to think about menus as not something that's for comfort. Like when people know what they want to drink, they're just going to go order that. Menus are for people to be a little bit creative and try things they maybe wouldn't. So I wanted to make sure that the menu is an approach to that where somebody wouldn't usually drink this, but they're intrigued enough to try it, and then maybe they've branched out and expanded their palate even just a little bit.
I have to say, I am so impressed at how you made the mezcal almost silky in this drink. It's
I would love to take credit for that, but it's honestly just been a really good collab. We have great ingredients. We had some really good help, again, with like
a lot of tastings.
lots of
and
tastings.
tweaking.
Yeah, TJ and Andrew at RNDC both and at Southern really kind of helped because I went in knowing what I wanted, but I don't have access to everything that they have, so they kind of
And a
helped
shout
me
out to
round it
TJ, who, first of all, happened to be here today
Yeah.
with some gin over there. And then I actually just went out to dinner with he and his wife on Friday. So
Oh, she's the
we
best.
were at
Jenna's the
Soti's.
best.
Yeah, we love Jenna. So
love
shout
her.
out to Jenna, too.
And he was featured in the first issue, right? TJ
Actually,
was?
yeah, TJ was in the very first issue of A Taste of AZ.
It all comes full circle.
Yeah,
That's
he
really
did
awesome.
his take on a Black Manhattan.
I'll have to have him make me that one day.
I know, and I never got to have it. I wanted to go in. You know, I did the article, but never actually got to have the drink. He was at Anello at the time.
Ah, okay. Yeah. which on the list of places I haven't been that Christina needs to take me to.
Yeah.
I get the royal treatment when I go with her. Yeah.
That's a pretty
Should
special
doing all of
place.
your meals with her.
I know, I
Should make sure you get set
And
up right.
cocktails.
Sure. Yeah. Oh, these are fantastic. These
I'm
are
glad to
really,
hear that.
Yeah, these are really, really good. So, if you had to pick a favorite? If like you're done with your shift and you're gonna have a shift drink.
Oh man, the cocktail world is going to kill me for this. I actually am not a huge cocktail drinker. I do enjoy them, but after like a day of like doing something like this, I just want something normal. So I'm usually like a tequila neat girl.
Okay.
No,
Mezcal
I
on the
hear that
rocks.
when I used to write a cocktail thing on my website. I should start that again, and that's what I would ask. And you would be surprised how many bartenders said a beer
Yeah.
Yeah.
or a whiskey neat.
Interesting.
Because the last thing they want to do is make a cocktail.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially you go home and everyone's like, "Oh, you want a drink?" I'm like, "Yeah." And they're like, "What are you making?" Like, "I've been working all day. I'm not making
You
anything.
make
What are
me
you
something."
making?"
I'm making 2 IPAs in these cans. Yeah. Beers, as far as like, and I picture a lot of people choosing like just like I want a Miller Lite.
Yeah,
Something like
they're
that.
always light,
No.
like a lager or an
Oh,
ale
oh,
or
no.
something. Yeah.
Stouts and porters.
Okay, so you're a beer girl then.
I am a
Kind
good
of.
beer girl.
Okay, I like that.
But yes, I
Because
mean,
Eric's a beer guy.
I am.
And
Yeah,
I should
that's my
say
world.
that he did win one year with his beer podcast, Best Podcast, Phoenix
21.
Magazine.
It's pretty.
Wow.
hoping to
Tap.az,
repeat-
a little
hoping to
shout out.
repeat in 2023, but
Well, you are nominated. I saw you on the list.
yeah, but also there's this podcast, all
I
right? So
know,
it's like, which one do I want to win, right?
I mean, I think as long as you're involved, but since you're
For
sitting here, you're probably this one. Just saying.
Oh, why, thank you. Now you're my favorite.
So, Christine, do you want to try some of these?
Oh, I
that I've
will.
been
I'll
hogging?
wait till later when I won't spill everything all over the table.
Well, that's already been taken care of. It's not going to happen twice.
That's true.
So, just
These are fantastic. I would say my favorite.
that one
I
over
like
for
this.
you.
I was not expecting. Not
Sake
this-
spritz.
Yeah, I wasn't saying I wasn't expecting this to be good. I didn't expect this to be my favorite, right? Because I like the one with the flowers. I do like a good espresso martini, but this is fantastic.
I like the
This is-
heat in this.
Yeah.
And then the
Just a
nuttiness
little
from
bit.
the orgeat.
yeah, like I said, they're two very different concepts. Because when you're up at the pool, you want something that is easy to drink, is refreshing, isn't gonna totally kill you in the sun, and that's where you go here. But down here, especially with Chef Mario's menu that we've put out, you want things to be a little bit more elevated. And I think that espresso martinis in specific and like old fashions tend to be very heavy and feel like winter or like very late night drinks. So we wanted to make sure we did something that made it a little bit easier to palate and a little bit lighter to where you would want to have a second one, not so rich, which is why the heat in that one is great. I spent, I don't know, like a week trying to figure out what pepper I was going to use for the agave, and finally Mario was like, just use a chipotle. I was like, oh my God, you figured it out.
Yeah, you got a little fruit,
I had,
a little
I had
heat, a
no
little
idea.
spice.
So shout out to Mario for that one.
He must be a chef or something.
You know, I think that's his day job.
He knows a thing or two, I think. Yeah. Well, it's interesting because like drinks, you want people to have, you want them to stay for a little bit, right?
For sure.
So, something like this, it would be like, okay, I want them to have another one of these. This makes me want to have a room here. Right, not
Even better.
Yeah, that's even elevated.
Great
like 5
marketing
steps.
to the Westin Tempe.
Well, and the
there.
rooms here are gorgeous, so
Yeah, that's
wouldn't
what-
be a bad idea.
Ernesto showed me the photos he took.
I know,
You should use some of those, Christina. I'm shout out to Ernesto. His pictures he took. Were
I
really
know, they
good.
came out pretty good.
But no, I mean, this is it's full circle of, I know this has only been just a sliver of Mario's food so far, but the cocktails you've made for us, because we had the old fashioned earlier, we had, what was the other one we had?
Greyhound,
The Greyhound.
Greyhound,
which
yeah.
is one of my favorite cocktails. So thank you for that choice.
That one's actually staying on the menu, on the new menu too. So you'll be able to
Good,
enjoy that one
because
for
that's
the
a
next
delicious
months
one.
to come.
So things will be changing pretty soon?
Yeah, so all of these cocktails, with the exception of the first two that you guys had, so the Sancho Old Fashioned, will be turning over and starting next week on the 27th.
Oh,
So you
I've
better
been
drink
building
all the
this one
drinks
up and,
today.
Well,
yeah.
I mean, the staff knows how to make that one, so I'm sure they'll make an exception for you.
Can we have a taste
A
of AZ?
pitcher. You want a pitcher?
A taste
No,
of
that's not
AZ?
a bad idea.
Oh, yeah. I like that idea.
A pitcher, yes, a pitcher, please. So what will you get when you are faced with that, right? Where you have to, in a hotel like this, is it kind of inevitable that you're going to have to rotate the menu at a certain point, or is it How does that work?
Yeah, I mean, we try to do a new cocktail and like beverage program with every menu turn that we do. And Chef Mario loves changing things up, so we switch menus a couple times a year. But I think it's always good to maintain your staples, and there are some drinks that, while they may not be on the menu anymore, we still have the product to make them, but we want to stay ahead. We want to be doing new things, trying new things, because standard cocktails are great, but they're always going to have them. You want to give people a reason, like, to just come back and say, I've been there, what are they doing now? I've been coming here for 10 years and nothing has changed, because then why come back?
Yeah.
Right.
So...
But then also, if you fall really in love with something, you can say, hey, I was here like a year ago and I had this. You'd be like, I got you.
Yeah. Like it gives them that little special like off menu thing.
Yeah.
And everyone wants to feel like that.
Heck yeah.
So.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah.
This is an impromptu
Thanks,
experience,
I know,
but it
and
was
you
a
were
lot
such
of fun.
a good sport, too.
So I would say real quick, we've been putting people on the spot a little bit with recommendations, right? I won't put you on the spot again because you were on the spot like 3 days ago.
That was a fun question.
Okay. I'll ask you then too. So, but we'll start with you. When you're not working and you're going out and about in metro area, anywhere in Arizona, like what are some of your places you recommend to people? Like, oh, if you're in Flagstaff, go here. If you're here. So
Sure.
Any new favorites?
Are we just drinking or are we eating?
We're doing both.
Ooh, that is a good response.
I knew that I was going to, I knew there was going to be a good response.
2 drinking, 2 eating.
All right. Well, my first one for drinking and eating, again, it's going to be a controversial choice. You're going to get me in trouble, is actually the Yucca Tap Room.
Oh, that's not controversial.
I've heard good things. I haven't been, but and it has live music too, right?
They do.
Yeah.
They have live music. They have a vintage pinball arcade, and they have a whiskey lounge. So there's a little bit of something for everybody. But I think that place, it's been here since the 70s. It originally had a female owner, which is very cool and exciting for me because we love that.
Yeah.
But I think it has that hole-in-the-wall neighborhood feel where you go there and you feel like family, but they do some really interesting things. Like their beer menu is to die for.
Yep.
All their bartenders are actually really, really well trained, and they do a lot of like, tell me what you want and I'll create something. And then their kitchen is just fantastic. But you wouldn't think that driving by it. So I think it's like a good hidden gem that I don't know that anyone would ever just wander in there without a recommendation. So.
And they got their food's pretty
their
top
food
notch
is
too.
really, really good.
Yeah. Do they still do the bao buns? They used to.
They do.
Yeah.
And they still do their Nashville hot chickens on Thursday.
Yeah.
Thursdays only. So
Nice.
I would definitely say that's a top one for me to go and see if I have people coming in town.
Okay.
Where else would I go if I was eating or drinking?
Or even just a specific dish. Like, is there any specific dishes or even local beers or anything like that recently that you've loved?
Yeah, I mean, I don't, be completely honest, I tend to go places that I grew up going to.
Okay.
So, for instance, like if I'm going to take someone to go eat, and we're in Arizona, and all my family is from here or lives like in Texas where they don't have like real Mexican food.
Yeah.
I take them to places like Jarritos because the original one is in my actual neighborhood where my grandmother lives.
Yeah.
And now they have a larger one. I think it's at Crown Plaza on like Bethany and 7th Street.
I did not know that.
And they have like a full bar. They have a fantastic pomegranate margarita that you wouldn't think that they would have. They have a really nice patio. So I love to see like businesses I grew up with. Like I know their families.
Yeah.
Doing something great and doing really well for themselves. So
Those
I
are
would
great
definitely take somebody
recommendations,
there.
though, right? Those are. It doesn't have to be the new, the hot, like this and that. It's like these are the tried and true. Like the places,
like of course, like you're gonna take people to Bitter and Twisted, you're gonna take people to Undertow and to Century Ground. Like those places are iconic and they're fun. But for me, it's more about I've born here, I've lived here my whole life. What are the things that the locals know about that
but that's
don't
great.
Get the flash?
That's why you asked that question, because
sure.
you don't want to hear the same old answers. all
Yeah,
the time.
yeah. And I don't want to be,
And not that the same old answers are
Yeah.
not good answers, but
I'm
Just mix
also
it
a
up a little.
sucker for marketing too. We were talking about this earlier with spirit brands and with beer labels. I'm like, oh, that looks really cool. I'm gonna spend $7 for this IPA, and then you're like, God dang it, that wasn't that good,
Well, hey,
right?
if you like spending $7 in IPAs, go see our new beer menu upstairs. We've got a great local beer.
Okay.
I think you'll be
upstairs.
staying here all day.
I know. I know. I already,
He just booked a room.
Nice.
I did, yeah.
His poor wife is home watching the kids, and Eric's just going to
Jackie,
hang out
bring
in
the girls.
Tempe.
Bring the girls down. We're
Make
staying
a
in
day.
Tempe. We're staying on Mill Avenue. Like what? Trust me. Yeah. Well, thank you so much.
Thank you guys again for having me. It was a pleasure.
Yeah.
I
Thank
appreciate
you.
it.
Absolutely.
That was great.
Real quick message for you guys. If you guys are enjoying today's episode, please leave us a review on your favorite podcast app and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Also, if you haven't already, make sure you subscribe to our email newsletter for all of the cool spots to eat and drink around town, as well as upcoming events and fun stuff like that. Also, we've got some brand new merch on our website, including these Thanks for Supporting Local hats and 2 brand new t-shirts. So make sure to check out our website for more. Now back to the podcast.
All right, those were the amazing cocktails. I got a little taste of Mario's food with the what was this?
So that was our carne asada huarache. It's a little nod to Chef Mel. Actually made this pizza in Crescent Moon, but gave it my little twist. So we make a marinated carne asada, house pickled jalapenos. We make our own cilantro pesto. We actually make it with cilantro, parsley, cotija cheese, and pepitas, so there's no nuts in it. And then we garnish it with fresh avocado and pico de gallo and more cotija cheese on top.
I was just going to have a bite, and I ate a whole slice.
I don't know if that last both pieces were for me, but
no, they were for you. I love eating with Eric because I was mentioning Mario. We get so much food and we can't eat it, and I bring it home. And it's so nice when we're out together, because I never feel guilty about taking home leftovers.
It's one of my gifts.
It is. It's a gift, and I really appreciate it.
And I enjoy all of it too.
You
right?
do,
I
right?
really do. Like
well, and you have such an appreciation, and you try things you've never had before, and then you're almost even more excited because you haven't had those flavors before.
Yeah.
And I love that cilantro pesto that you don't do nuts, so that's good for people who might have an allergy.
Yeah, we try to keep the allergies in mind, and then also health conscious people as well, because we are a Westin, so that's one of our brand standards is to eat well. Mm-hmm. So
yeah, I take it, man. Well, so all right, we're gonna wrap this thing up, but we're gonna put him on the spot too, right? So, you grew up here, mm-hmm. right? You've been in the industry, you've been around. What are some of the places that you, even some newer places or some staples of places you recommend people to go to, and what do they eat? What do they drink? Certain dishes.
Well, it depends on what I'm feeling, right? So
okay.
It's all about feeling for me. So like if I just want to lounge around at the house, watch a basketball game since the playoffs are on right now, I usually call one of my pizza partlers that I grew up with, Grandpa's Pizza.
Okay.
I actually used to go there after football practice. So it's still around. Really good pizza. So it's on 83rd Avenue and Indian School.
Okay.
And what kind of pizza do you order?
I call it the Mario Special.
We're going to call it that too when we go,
It
right?
might be a little controversial, but I like pineapple on my pizza, so I do pepperoni, pineapple, and jalapeno. So a little sweet and spicy mix.
Yeah. Like fresh jalapenos or pickled jalapenos?
Pickled jalapenos.
Oh, yeah.
Fresh sometimes it'd be a little weird. Sometimes they are spicy, sometimes they're not. But usually the pickled ones, you get a little heat to it.
Oh, I never thought of that. That's true.
Yeah, I love pickled to me, it's night and day. Mm-hmm. Pickled jalapenos compared to fresh jalapenos on pizza. My wife grew up in Minnesota, and there's a local chain called Zorba's, and all of them are on lakes around like northwestern Minnesota, and they do Mexican food and pizza, and they have this thing, I think it's called the Randall, and it is peanut butter, red sauce, pepperoni, pickled fresh jalapenos, and cheese. So it's
I'm intrigued.
Very intriguing.
Yeah, and it works. Like it works. So first time I went home with her, her friends were like, "Oh, you got to try it." Or the Loudon. That's what it's called. You got to try the Loudon. They tell me first thing peanut butter.
And you were
I'm
like, "You people are
butter?
crazy."
Like, what? I love peanut butter, but not on pizza. And it just makes sense. It's not a lot of peanut butter. It's just like a thin layer on the crust before you threw everything else on there, right? But at home, to do it myself, I don't really like fresh jalapenos, so I did pickled. And I'm like, next level. I talk shit to them.
So yours is better than the Loudon. So the Eric is better than the Loudon.
Yeah, exactly. I go back to Minnesota. I'm like, you think this is good? I'm made one even better.
Yeah,
They're like, I don't care. We sell like 15,000 of these a day. So, okay. So Grandpa's Pizza.
Grandpa's Pizza.
Yeah.
If I want a cool cocktails, actually, I just went to go check out the Brickyard.
And I love the Brickyard.
They have a really cool cocktail menu. So I was very intrigued, or very brought back to my earlier years where I was, played video games. So their cocktail menu is basically like an old video game case, and then the manual is actually the cocktail menu.
No way.
They are so creative with their, they have a theme, and I mean the one I haven't been in a while, but the one that was a tribute to Bobby was Space.
Yeah. So it was very, very cool. You had a nod to Mario and Sonic and Mortal Kombat and those type of games in the early '90s, all the way up to early 2000s. So yeah,
Remember
pretty
Contra?
Contra, yeah,
Contra?
I do.
That was
I
good
do.
with the
Yeah.
two guys shooting the aliens.
Yeah.
That was game changer.
Yeah, good times. Good
Game
times.
changer.
Yeah, no pun intended.
No pun intended. And then their tapas menu is actually pretty good too as well.
Okay.
So
Yeah, they to me they have the whole thing. They have fantastic staff, great menu, food, and great cocktails.
Yeah, I was very impressed with and how they talk about the cocktails and describe it, what the inspiration that came about it, and just how they explain it. The passion, you can tell the passion that's in there.
Yeah, you always learn a little bit every time you
exactly.
drink something over there.
I like that for sure. We talked about this the other day. Like sometimes you get a great product, you get a great ambiance, but like the service isn't there, or it's when you have places that take it to the next level, it's kind of unfair to the other ones, right? Because you've set that bar really high. But those are the places you want to go to, right? Like when especially you working in this industry, you're working a lot of hours, and kind of, I don't want to say the last place, but some of the, when you're away from work, you want to be away from work, right? So to be able to find places that can kind of keep that spark alive.
Exactly, and then there's so many talented people in Arizona. Like it's crazy. Like people say, oh, you got to go to New York, you got to go to California, but honestly, like we're so rich in the talent that we have here in Arizona that it just amazes me.
I think that's why we're all right at this table.
I agree. I agree.
To get the word out about the amazing talent. But it's true, it's, I mean, I don't hear it as often, but I used to be on these, boards when I was first moving to Arizona. And you would see people saying, oh, there's no good restaurants. And I'm like, so you went to every restaurant
Right.
and decided it's not good.
Yeah.
But of course they went to chains but I don't hear it as much anymore, which is nice.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like finally, people.
Well, yeah. Well, same thing with beer, right? In the beer groups, people are like, oh, hey, what's the best IPA here? One in California. I'm like, come on.
You're
like,
right.
There's plenty of great, but I think we're starting to kind of get that recognition. But I'll be honest with you, I was a little fired up that James Beard finalists.
I'm surprised with all the semi-finalists we had.
Yeah, and in beer too. Like they just named like the top 50 breweries in the country, and I think it's like by volume or whatever. But like no representation from Arizona. I'm like, you know what?
I feel like, and even locally, the beer awards and things, I feel like that maybe the people who vote, there aren't enough beer people.
Sure.
Because they always look, like it just doesn't seem like they get into the nitty gritty of how cool our beer scene is.
Really is.
Yeah.
All of it. Spirits.
Yeah,
food.
they just dig into what they know or what they hear. Like you were talking earlier about the marketing, right? So it's all about the marketing and the how much
Or a
money.
name that looks familiar.
Exactly. Yeah.
Or
So,
in beer, sometimes it's the name that's not familiar. It's like a band, right? It's like,
Right.
oh, dude, the best beers from Rindle Cuff. Like, who the hell's that? Nobody,
Yeah.
Which they might make good beer, right? But you're
Right.
discounting.
Well, because I think people go through listening, oh, I've heard of that, or I like that name.
Yeah.
Vote.
Yeah.
Instead of really delving into why
we're
you
going to
like
keep doing
that.
what we do, building these names
Yeah.
up, like Chef Mario.
He's going to make his own beer next.
Yeah.
Well, maybe I do like beer. I like porters and stouts. And
Yeah, I'm a
Have
big
you ever
porter
partnered
stout.
up with a brewery?
I have not yet. No. Maybe that'll be sometime in the future.
Yep, Eric, Taste of AZ beer just released,
Yeah.
a month ago?
Yep, a Taste of AZ Pilsner we released. Myself, I say individually, under my brand, Tap That AZ, I've done like 20 collaborations with
20?
Yeah.
Wow.
I did not know that.
Well, I was at like 18, 19, and then I just did.
So how many before I had met you?
Maybe like 8 or 10.
Wow, so I've missed a few.
Yeah, yeah. Well, so they've just been kind of building up, because I'm really good friends with Simple Machine, and I'll have an idea, and Marshall, shout out to him. He is always fielding my crazy ideas. I'm like, dude, what if we named a beer called Jean-Claude Bandana, and we brought in a local MMA gym? He's like, let's do it. I'm like, all right, cool. Let's,
That's a pretty good concept
right
there.
yeah.
Yeah. I'm a big fan of Jean-Claude Van Damme, so and I love martial arts. So
Well, it was a big success too, because the MMA gym really loved the beer too, and they were the biggest consumers of the beer. They'd come to the brewery every Saturday and say, hey, can I get some Jean-Claude Bandana? And just a cool name too.
That
right?
is a great name. And that's one of the only breweries I've been to was because of one of your beers.
Nice.
And simple, and it's kind of up in my part of the valley.
Yeah,
north.
they got a big patio. Like there's a lot going on there. But so I was at like 19, and then recently I connected Simple Machine with Pala. So they're doing a Japanese
exciting.
Beer dinner Thursday. I can't go because we're heading to Minnesota.
Yeah.
But I did 3 beers with them.
I'm missing the one that they're doing one with, I think, Mezcal Carreño and Brett Vibber. Darn it.
Oh, a dinner with them?
Yeah, and I have plans that I would have to make other people change, and too
Yeah.
many other people change, and so I don't want to do it, but darn it.
Maybe Mario can go in your place.
yeah, maybe. Yeah.
Have you been to Pala?
I have not. No.
Yeah,
No.
I'm
But I hear great
slightly
things.
obsessed.
It's so good.
Yeah.
Such a cool. I'm a big fan of the 24th Street location, just because it's like small and it's got an interesting
Yeah,
vibe
I
for
loved
where
it.
it's
I
at.
just haven't been there in a while.
Yeah.
But it's basically, it's, you had Claudio, who was the original owner, and then you have Jason Alford, who's made a huge name for himself with Roca Core.
Mm-hmm.
So they've kind of melded that Italian and Japanese sensibility of letting the ingredients shine and speak for themselves, but in such a creative, brilliant way.
Yeah.
Like this amazing lamb tartare with squid ink Japanese milk bread.
Wow, that sounds amazing.
Yeah, I mean, that's just like one of the little things. They just did a Arizona pasta, Arizona made pasta with a jamon iberico dashi.
Wow.
I don't even know the names. Those last 3 words, I don't even know what those mean.
Gibberish.
Gibberish. No, that lots of quality ingredients right there. But
and then it's, the whole package, the team, the staff. So save that for a night off sometime.
I will. I'll add it
and
to
I'll
my
meet
list.
you there.
Okay, sounds great. Yeah, I have a growing list just like Christina with all the places I need to go.
Yeah, it was nice. I got to see, I know one place he really likes because I ran into him. We were at the Kimpton at Blue Hound to visit Chef Alex, who we are planning. I don't know if Luke told you, he's going to be on a future podcast.
Ooh, nice. Okay.
Yeah.
We're thinking him and Spotty, who does the beverage program.
Okay, yeah, Alex is a good friend of mine,
Yeah.
and he's doing amazing things over there and revamping the Kimpton program up there, and I wish him all the best and successful things. But he's gonna kill it.
Yeah,
I'm
he's
pretty
super
sure.
talented. I met him when he was at Royal Palms, and I was like, who is this guy? Because he was so passionate. His food was great, and we've gotten to spend some time with him since then.
Yeah, great man.
Love it. I love it. My list is growing as well. Like I'm like a child coming with Christina. Like it's like I don't even know any of these people, any of these words, but I'm so
Jamon iberico
enthusiastic.
dashi.
But I'm
Actually,
so excited.
that those are no normal words you see together.
No. Two completely different worlds.
Okay. Yeah, it's good to know. So for you, what's the big picture look like for you personally as a chef, and like where you want your career to go? Like where do you want this to go?
Well, currently I'm very deeply invested into the Westin Tempe, just growing the scene or the food scene out here. Unfortunately, House of Tricks.
Yeah, making it a destination.
Exactly, making a destination. Unfortunately, House of Tricks shut down. I think it was earlier this year, or if not last year.
Last
that was
year, I
really
think.
close. Around
Yeah,
there,
it was
right?
just around the corner from us. So
I'm glad I got there. You never got there?
No.
It's pretty special.
Yeah, pretty special, and it's been a staple for Tempe, where that was the destination you would go to. So now, with their absence, I want to take that place and help create and develop and grow the scene here in Tempe. Because it's a great city. Everything's growing. People are coming in. New businesses, restaurants and bars, new hotels. So we want to be the hotel and to drive, the business, the tourism to come here. So make it that destination that you have to. If you go to Arizona, you have to go to Tempe.
Yeah. I dig it, right? Because you can stay here. You can, I think I see Mill Avenue right there.
Yeah.
Right? It's that close. So you can hop around to some places, grab some beers. What's the Irish pub that's down to, used to be there? I can't remember what it was called.
I don't remember.
But I think they had their own taps like on the tables. Like you could get like your own beer tapped. I can't remember what it's called. But anyways, Mill Avenue, it's a really cool place to kind of just get out, get some, enjoy the Arizona weather, maybe climb a mountain, right? But this is at home base.
Yeah,
right?
And then
exactly.
you haven't even seen the rooftop, because that's a huge draw.
Yeah.
It's not just a pool. It's an entertainment space. I know I've seen DJs up there.
Oh yeah. We have
or showings of. I think, haven't you done the Derby that you did, or Oscars or something?
We did
TV,
Super Bowl
right?
up there. So
Super
we
Bowl.
we have a big screen TV. There's a whole program of what we do up there. So on Thursdays we do Throwback Thursdays. So we have a DJ up there and make it like a big party, with throwback music. There's a couple of different other things like Feel the Beat, Not That Great. We have Sneaker Sundays, which actually I'm wearing sneakers since I said earlier.
Well, we know he's a collector, remember?
That's why that's how you got in the industry.
Right,
was your
yeah.
sneaker obsession.
Exactly. We got full circle now.
Right.
So we've collabed with Cubes. Sorry, I can't remember what the actual name of the partner that we partnered with.
Okay.
So we have basically like a pop-up shop in our Cup of Joe, and on Sundays we all wear our sneakers, and then guests and people from that are not staying here can come and pick up a pair of Jordans or Air Forces. Or
Was that your idea?
Actually, it wasn't, but
You were like, I love this
yes,
idea.
Yes, I had, just some of those things that, we have a great team here that just thinking of things outside the box that, I've never heard of anything like that in any hotel resort.
No.
It's just like, oh, well, why don't we do this? I was like, oh, I'm in it. I'm in. I'll probably buy like 10 pairs in one day, but
There goes my whole paycheck.
yeah, there goes. We're doing a lot of cool things up there. Weekend vibe checks at Skysill, where basically it's just one big pool party on the weekends, live DJs, and then come summertime we have a Cinco de Mayo coming up, which we have May the 4th. Just the plenty, 4th of July, Memorial Day, all those days, we have something special, pretty big planned. So
Nice.
I'm
Okay.
excited for what we're doing and what's to come. So,
Love it, man. Well, dude, thanks for joining us.
well, thank you for having me.
Yeah, so I'm excited. It was just a little sliver of the food so far. So he said he was going to have a whole big buffet set up for us.
Yeah. It's actually being
85
ready.
dishes.
Our whole menu: breakfast, lunch, and dinner. There you go, and brunch.
Nice.
Yeah.
All right, cool. Dude, thank you so much.
My pleasure. Thank you for having us.
Absolutely.